Couch with Andria Rose. Today we've got Claudia and Juliet from CSJ leMoNaiD. Have I said that right, guys?
Yes.
Cool.
Perfect.
So this month, you may recall last month our theme was about food and how all those kind of things, all the things with food relate to superpowers. This month we're talking about acceptance and responsibility, and there's so many different ways and different stories that people have. So today, Claudia and Juliet are going to talk to us a bit about their story and what they did with it, which you can be involved in. So, Claudia, where to begin? What happened? What's your story?
Well, it all began when my dad got diagnosed with motor neurone disease, and it became a massive shock to us because we didn't really know much about it, and it's 100% fatal, and there's no cure and no treatment for motor neurone disease. So hearing that somebody in your life that you love and is so close to you has that disease, it was really scary, and it set us on a path in our lives that we're still on today, and that changed the course of our lives forever.
Yeah.
So we kind of all got together as a family and figured out what it was, and got second opinions and a barrage of tests for my dad, and realised that it was motor neurone disease, and the diagnosis was that, and the prognosis was that he'd have about 2 years dealing with it until he passes away from it. And so that was in 2012.
So full on.
And then in 2014...
Sorry, I got very confused then.
And then in 2014, I moved in with my parents during the week because they lived on the Central Coast, to help my mum care for my dad.
Mm.
And so it took me away from my family during the week, and then on the weekends I'd come home and be with my family. So I spent my time in between the two residences because my dad became increasingly more dependent and less mobile. My mum couldn't cope on her own, so she needed some help, and that's why I went to live with them.
How old were you then, Juliet? Sorry for interrupting. So a couple of years ago?
I was 10.
Yeah, right. That would be pretty hard to do. Do you have siblings as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have a brother.
Yep.
He's 5.
Yeah, right. That would have been very full on for your family. Go on, Juliet.
Yes,
I interrupted you. Yeah.
No, that's fine. It was pretty full on, and I just kind of like put my head down and got to the business of caring for my dad and making life as comfortable as possible for him and my mum, because it's just, it knocks you for a six. Like, it just takes over your whole life. And everything constantly changed, because each day he would wake up and he'd be able to move less.
Yeah, that'd be
so every day there was something different that he would lose. You know, he would lose the ability to shave, or he would lose the ability to eat, feed himself. And so every day was a challenge.
Not knowing what you're waking up to.
Exactly.
It's like the opposite of when you have a baby and every day they do something new.
Yes.
Like in reverse.
Exactly right. That's a really good way of describing it, actually. And so that was really difficult. And the way I dealt with it was to just block out everything and just concentrate on that.
Yep.
And just do that to the best of my ability, and be there for my mum and dad, and enjoy them as much as possible in the time that I had with them, and kind of download the memories and keep them in my mind, because I knew that I was going to lose my dad. And what I wasn't realising at the time was that, in a way, Juliet had lost her mum, because I was going away all the time, and she couldn't come with me because she had school, because I was there during the week. So it was like my loss was her loss, in a way. So after my dad passed away, Juliet said one day, we've got to do something, Mum. You know, it's not right that there's no cure and there's no treatment for people who have motor neurone disease. It's that we need to give people hope. There has to be a way of doing something. And
how old were you then? Were you about 12 then or 11 when you started?
I was 11.
Yeah. 11. Yeah, so we talked about it, and I said to her, okay, well, what can we do? What's your brain telling you that we can do? What's within our power? And we bantied around a few ideas like a cake stall or what was another one that we thought of?
A bakery.
Yeah, like a bakery. And I thought, I don't know, that there's a lot involved with that, and I wanted it to be something that we could sustain. Didn't want it to be something so difficult that we'd only do it for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And so Juliet came up with the idea of making leMoNaiD. And
awesome.
I was like, I was excited. I was like, that's perfect.
Well, yeah.
So she got started on a recipe. She did some research, and we got the ingredients together, and we started to do a bit of mixing at home.
Yeah, I made the leMoNaiD. I made a jar, but I didn't it wasn't sweet enough, and it wasn't very nice. So I put a bit more of the ingredients that I thought that the leMoNaiD needed more of. So we came up with the recipe, and it was really good. And then we came, maybe a couple months later, we went to this, a cafe sort of restaurant diner thing in local to my school. I think we went there one morning, and they had vanilla in their leMoNaiD.
Ooh.
I got vanilla, and Mum was like, oh my God!
That's the missing ingredient.
That is what we need. We are stealing that idea. So we ended up having vanilla in our leMoNaiD as well. So, yeah.
That's so. I can't wait to try it sometime.
Yeah.
So then you obviously got the mix right, and then what happened?
Yeah. So Juliet, we wanted her to take ownership of the idea because it was her idea. She was the one that came to me and said something needs to be done. So we said, okay, well, where are we going to sell this leMoNaiD? And we go to our local farmers market to do our shopping every week. Every Saturday we go there.
Yep.
So Juliet said, why not at the markets? And we were like, oh, that's a good idea. So she went to the organisers of the market, approached them and said, I want to raise money for a cure for motor neurone disease by selling leMoNaiD. Would you let me have a stall here? And they got behind her. They said, we know somebody who has that disease. We'd really like to support you. And they give us the spot there for free every week.
Yeah, I remember you saying it was a few years ago now. And
it was 18 months now. Because we started at the end of 2014. So November 2014, she had her first day there.
And I only just turned 13, so
it seems 2 years, but it's really 18 months.
Yeah.
She's had 2 birthdays in that 18-month period. So then she got to design her stall. She did some research about how she wanted it to look.
Yeah.
And we all got together and said yes to this, no to that, and we tweaked it. And then I sewed all the material together for the canopy and the tablecloths and all of that sort of thing. My husband built it out of wood and painted it.
I didn't know she had the skills to sew that. I honestly didn't.
She probably didn't know you had skills to invent things.
Yeah. And we made it happen.
So good.
Juliet paid for half the stall, all the materials and everything we needed, and we put in the other half. And she was to pay us back. Mm-hmm. So her risk was spread between herself and us, which we thought was a very smart thing to do. And we thought it would take her a while to pay it back, and she paid it back after her first afternoon selling leMoNaiD. which was absolutely incredible. We couldn't believe it.
Well, there's a couple of things. I know we had a big conversation on the phone. There's a couple of things that I would like to touch on. I remember you were saying, because you as a family did the stalls, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you were telling me, like, people just came out of the woodwork.
Yeah. So
like
every week she'd get up and go to the market with her stall, and we'd help her set it up, and slowly over time, more and more people got to know us and what we were doing and why we were there. And as soon as people realised we were there to raise money for motor neurone disease, they would start telling us about people that they knew who had it.
Yeah.
Some people would say, oh, my dad had it, or my mum had it, or my grandmother had it.
Yeah, and when, like, every single week that we went there, at least 2 or 3 people would actually say that they knew somebody. And I thought that it was not known, like, whatsoever, because I've never, ever in my whole entire life before my grandfather got it, ever heard of the disease. I had no idea what it was, and neither did anybody else that I knew, otherwise I would have known about it because they would have told me or something like that. So I had no idea about it, and then all these people come and say that they've experienced it, and I was like, I thought that nobody knew about this disease.
Yeah. So they were telling us their story, and we would tell them our story, and tears would flow, of course, and through that sharing of stories with each other, I would always feel connected. I would always feel that I wasn't alone, and it helped with the grieving process for us.
I imagine it would.
And, you know, we wanted Juliet to feel that she was doing something, because that was in her heart what she wanted to do. We never thought in a million years how healing it would be for us too.
Yep.
As adults.
Yeah, and from like what you've said, and you can tell from what you're talking about now, the people coming to your stand, like, they would have had hope, and that's what you wanted to give people, Julie.
Yes.
The next thing you know, sounds like there's a little bit of a community sort of getting built, and people are talking about it, and you're all healing each other, and
exactly.
So beautiful.
And it was an unexpected result from what we were doing. We didn't know that was going to happen, but it was just so wonderful. And it got to a point actually where some weeks Juliet would be in the morning, she'd say, Mum, are you going to cry today? Are you going to cry today? And I'll be like, I don't know, but it's okay if I do, because it makes me feel like I'm getting it out, and that I'm connecting with people who know how I feel.
Yeah.
And we're giving them hope because we're raising money for a cure.
Yeah.
So, and people got behind Juliet at the markets. They really absolutely loved what she was doing and really got behind her, and
so great.
gave her the start, like really got her started. Yeah. By buying her leMoNaiD, and she did such a great job in the first few weeks that it spurred her to keep going.
That's awesome. So how's it going now? So I know, do you want to tell me, Juliet, some of the stuff you've got in the pipeline and how it's going, and you can share how much you've raised if you want to, and what you're raising it for? I don't think you've touched on that yet.
We're raising money for motor neurone disease, and it affects your muscles, and you can't move. Pretty much, it stops you from being able to move, and it kills you very, very slowly.
Horrible.
Yeah. So
what are you going to do with the money?
Well, we're going to put it to research. But right now, we are putting it into bottling our leMoNaiD, and
we're just
trying to get it a step further so we can
We're just
get
about
into
to do a
research.
crowdfund campaign.
Yeah.
So we're just
crowdfunding.
We're just about to. We're filming at the moment.
Oh, so exciting! I'm about to do that too.
Yeah, we've got a script writer and a videographer to help us with a video, a campaign video. So we want to do some crowdfunding to get the word out there about what we're doing, and to get the leMoNaiD into bottles so that then we can sell it at big events. And we're in talks at the moment with Tennis New South Wales to get to the APIA next year.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's not 100% yet.
Yeah,
it's an amazing
talks
conversation to be having and so exciting. So the crowdfunding campaign is to set you up so you can bottle to sell at these big events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the aim of all of this work is to create a steady stream of income coming in to the research facility at Macquarie University. So we can just continually pump money in so that the research can continue. And another approach that we've decided on actually this last week is that we want to partner up with Rotary and offer a scholarship to students at University of Wollongong who want to become researchers for motor neurone disease.
That's a great idea too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're ensuring the future of research and we're also supporting current research. So that's the two-pronged approach we want to take with the money that we raise from selling our leMoNaiD. Yeah.
So awesome. And that's the thing, like we talk about secret superpowers for me, is that conversion of something that was really hard for both of you. And you both went, you know, Juliet, obviously you had the idea and you're such a supportive parent. You know, some parents do put their kids down. Some parents are like, no, you can't. Like my son's dad, like my son was only little and he wanted to be a soccer player and his dad told him he couldn't be a soccer player. You know, and would get mad at me for saying you actually can do anything you want. You have to work for it. You have to train. You have to push, but you can. You actually can. You know. And so some parents just are like, you could have gone, I'm upset. I don't want to play. You know? But instead you went, no, we both need to heal. Let's do this together. Let's work it out. And I don't even know what that word is. I'm really bad at wording. When you transform something dark into something light and lift up, you both could have gone into holes and got depressed.
Yes.
Don't worry, I struggle with words too.
I call it wording. I also have trouble with worlding sometimes, and I stay inside. But yeah, so I just think it's so beautiful. And tell me though too, like I might know what the answer would be, but one of the questions I do ask people is, if you struggle now, so obviously you have grief. But it sounds like if you struggle now, you actually have this outlet. So, you know, how do you cope with that? Do you feel it much now?
It's less now.
Yeah.
And it's been because of the journey that we've been on and the healing process that's taken place at the markets with people who've been through similar things. That it's less now. It's been replaced, I think, with a purpose.
Yeah.
The grief now is channeled into that energy of grief is now channeled into doing something and taking action.
Yeah.
And we've got a plan in our heads now of where we want to take it. It's clearer.
Yeah.
When we started it, it was just let's raise money.
Yeah, yeah.
And we didn't know where the money was going to go. We knew it was for research into motor neurone disease. But we didn't know what that looked like. We didn't know anything like that. We were just grieving and we were just acting. We were just doing.
Yeah.
And now the grief has passed a little bit. We've got more focus and the way is a lot clearer. And we've got a plan now.
Yeah.
We've gotten ourselves organised, haven't we, Juliet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing so awesome. So, I'm going to check my notes. How can people connect with you? Before I go there, is there anything else you want to say, share? Any tips you give anyone who's going through something hard? That's probably one of my favourite ones to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a little bit that we left out of the story, which was fine. But what happened was it was the day that I found out that he passed away, or the day that he passed away, that my mum passed away, I was at this thing called Surf Awareness where youth sitters go at school time to go learn surfing for a sport thing. I don't know, just a school program. And it was the one week because it was the last session of self-awareness that we're going to have. And we got to go to Cronulla shops because Cronulla Beach, Cronulla shops. We got to go to the shops. And I was really excited because I love shopping. And I asked my mum to come so I could go, so pretty much so she was my credit card.
Yeah,
You
right.
know?
So I can pay for everything.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but I did want her to come because she hasn't seen it yet, like the self-awareness and all that. So I wanted her to come. And in the morning, we found out that he was not doing that well, but we didn't really quite know. Mum didn't, or any of us really knew how bad it was, except for my nana who was there and the caretaker who was the caretaker. That's
The carer.
The carer. Why did I say caretaker?
Wording.
Yeah, the caretaker. I can't get over that. Anyway, so the carer. And he said to Mum, it's up to, the carer said to Mum, it's up to you, you can come or you can stay there, but you should probably come.
No, he said, I asked him.
Oh, sorry.
Because I wasn't there, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know how serious my dad was. And he was trying to describe to me my dad, but he wasn't telling me how serious it was. And all I wanted him to say was, you should come. Or it's not that serious, don't worry about it, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I said out straight, should I come there? Are you telling me that he's got, really bad and that I need to come? And he said, well, that's up to you. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that I've called an ambulance to take your dad to hospital.
What I don't get is why he can't tell you that.
I don't know. Maybe
Weird,
because
isn't it?
he didn't.
Yeah. That would be, I imagine, a big part of your grief as well, going, oh, yeah, that would be hard to deal with.
Yeah. Maybe because of past experience, or maybe because of carers' rules and regulations, I don't know. Maybe he felt that he couldn't make a judgment because he's not.
But you wouldn't want to make a judgment the other way, I would think.
But even so, as it turned out, because my parents live on the Central Coast, I was 2 hours away from them. So it wouldn't have made any difference anyway if I'd left then or half an hour later. It made no difference because I was still too far away to see my dad before he went into hospital.
Yeah.
So what were you going to say?
Well, I can't remember. So,
You were going shopping and this thing happened.
Oh, yeah. So it was maybe 3/4 of the way through the session, and my dad came over, and my mum warned me in the morning on the way to Surf Awareness.
What was happening? So it was all happening on the way to Surf Awareness, all this stuff. So I'd said to her, Nono's not feeling well.
If I need to go, then I will go. And I said, oh, do you have to? And I remember it. She said, if my father is dying, I'm going to go to the hospital. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's that serious. Like I would understand. But when my dad said, come on, we need to go, he didn't tell me what's going on because Mum wanted to tell me. And I started crying.
No, I don't know why he didn't say it. I think he wanted us all to be together.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And I was crying because I really, I know that sounds horrible, but I was crying because I didn't know that, obviously I didn't know that my grandfather has just passed away, but I was really upset because I wanted to go shopping with Mum.
Because she hadn't spent much time with me over that time. And this was one of the first activities from school that I'd gone to.
Because you've been away 5 days a week for so long.
Yeah.
So you'd have been like, I just want my mum. Can I just have her today? And that's
yeah,
what I want.
she's
I'm a
here
little
for
girl,
me. This is my day. Exactly. Yeah.
You don't need to feel bad for, you don't say sorry when you're saying that story. You're like, oh no, it sounds bad, but,
Yeah. So we were out at the bench and my mum was crying. I was like, hang on a second.
And you were crying?
Oh, yeah, I know, but you were crying. I didn't know, if you know what I'm saying. I didn't know that he passed away. So you were crying.
And,
I was like,
and she was crying. So I assumed
that
Spencer had told her that Dad had passed away.
And I remember her saying, "Did you tell her, Spen?" And he was like, "No." So I sat down, and Bryn didn't know either, my little brother, and she told us, and I was like, "What? No!" And
yeah, it was a shock.
Because like one day he was so well and he was doing fine. Even Mum said that it was one of his good days. Nothing was wrong with him. He didn't have any cough.
Well, he'd had a chest infection up until that point, but the day that I left, he was okay. And it looked like he was getting better. And I was going to stay with him, and he said, no, you go. I'm going to be okay here.
Yeah.
And so I got the palliative care nurse to come and check him out and get him on some antibiotics and sort of just make sure that the chest infection wasn't going to get out of control.
Yeah.
And he went downhill in one night.
So full on.
Yeah, and then the next day they took him to the hospital and he passed away in the ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Yeah, right. So no way in hell would he get there anyway, like you said.
Yeah.
Was there...
And, sorry...
no, you go. I was wanting to see if there was something else you were adding to that.
And I think the reason why he passed away in the ambulance was because he dealt with it for, like, 2 years?
Yeah.
So I think he just sort of gave up on himself in the ambulance.
He'd been very tired and worn out from it, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I think he just, I know that sounds horrible, and it is, but
no.
He did it for 2 years, I think he just gave up on himself. That's why he died in the ambulance. Yeah. So, and all of this, by the way, happened on my dad's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. So my grandfather's, would you say anniversary?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you call it a death anniversary? That's not what you call it, is it?
Death anniversary? I don't know. I don't think there's a word for it. People like memorial, it's the day that it happened.
Yeah, so every single day every single year on my dad's birthday we're grieving over Nunua. And I was in the car on my way there, in the car on the way to the hospital, I was like, "Dad, are you okay? Because this is happening on your birthday." That would be so horrible.
You're very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just
it would be hard when you have a day that's associated with something else. It can make it difficult. But it can also it depends how you look at it. In some years you might find it easier than others, and some years you might be, remembering happily. And toasting and drinking his name, or you might do an event for your business.
Yeah. Well, a friend of ours actually put it really beautifully because Juliet was having a hard time with that. That really worried her, that it was on his birthday. And a friend of ours described it beautifully by saying that she felt, in a way, my dad was passing the family baton to my husband. That he's gone now, so...
you're in charge, buddy.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out on my girls.
You need to look after my daughter now. It's your job. And my grandchildren, that sort of thing, which I thought was a really beautiful way of looking at it.
You just don't know, do you? It's goosebumpy, the seeming control that some people have over when they die.
Yeah.
People wait for people. They give people permission to not come by doing it quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to share from your story that you think might help other people? One thing I like to ask people is, what tips have you got for people who are struggling?
Well, I would definitely say that, even though somebody's sick with cancer or whatever, I even know a young girl with cancer. What is she, 5, 6?
Yeah.
And I was so heartbroken when I found out she had it. She has leukemia. But that's beside the point. You just need to stay positive because you can't think, a mother with a child that's 6 years old and has leukemia cannot think of her daughter dying or has the chance of dying, you can't really think like that.
You gotta have hope. You gotta focus on the solution, not the problem.
Yeah, and this 6-year-old kid with leukemia, we just recently talked to the mum, and she said that her daughter calls herself a baldy or something.
She makes a joke out of it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, how is that possible?
She her daughter Olivia, her name is. She loves her bald head.
Yes.
And she's only 6, but she looks at it as a positive thing. She sees herself with the bald head and likes it, and calls herself baldy and teases herself, and takes it in her stride. Yeah. So I think
amazingly resilient. Secret superpower resilience.
Yes, exactly. And meeting other families who were caring for their loved ones who had motor neurone disease. There was a lady who and her sister who were caring for their family member, and they made a joke out of everything. Yeah. And it wasn't distasteful. It was always done in a way to uplift the spirit. Because it's, you're just crying all the time. Yep. You just feel like crying all the time because you're helpless. You feel helpless. You can't do anything. You can't change it. There's no one that can help.
That powerlessness.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's that choice to go, okay, it's like the Serenity
That
poem.
was a good word.
Huh? What did I say?
That was a good word.
Powerlessness?
Yeah, you had the word then.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that one because I felt that.
You're beating your weakness.
I'm wording well in the moment.
What do you call it?
Overcoming it.
Wording well.
Your badness of wording.
Getting better.
That's just an example of how bad I am at wording.
What was I just saying? Anyway, totally forgot. It's that choice. It's and I think some people think they can't make that choice. And the thing, I guess, with me is I have been stuck. Like, this whole thing started because I was trapped in my bedroom. Like, every time I'd come out and try to world, something bad would happen.
Yeah.
Go back to my bedroom. I hate the world, and I'm staying in my little safety bubble. And but like, you can't live like that,
No.
And I'd get caught up in my head and.
Oh yeah, that happens to me too. Yep.
And learning and stepping out of it, and you fall and get up and fall and get up. And the reality is, though, when someone says they don't have a choice, they do. And, and for some people, and I've been that person in my life where I'm like, no, you don't get it. I don't have a choice. Well, in that moment, maybe I don't because I don't believe I had a choice. But the reality is we do, and we can take that power. And that's why stories like this to me are so important, because you could have got depressed. You could have become an alcoholic, you know, and you could have distanced yourself from your relationship with your daughter.
Yes.
And gone into your own grief. And you could have been like, my mum has been forever absent ever since my granddad died. The whole story could have gone down a different path. But instead, it went down this one, and that was choices, and it was, so I just think that's why I want to share the stories. So, the last thing is, how can people connect with you? So what you can explain here, and what I'll do when I put this on YouTube and things like that. I'll have my little, that way I can always make sure I can send everybody your link and things like that. So if you tell people here, and then we'll talk afterwards, and I'll make sure I've got the right link to send out to people. Okay.
We have a website. It's called csjlemonaid.com.
Cool.
But the lemonade has an AID, so not AD.
It's like aid, like...
Yes.
Yeah.
Helping people, yes, exactly.
So that's great. I knew it was spelled different. I didn't actually tweak to that. So that's awesome. So leMoNaiD, CSJ leMoNaiD.
leMoNaiD with an AID. Because the CSJ is the initials of me, my dad, and Juliet.
Yep.
And then leMoNaiD with the AID because we help people.
And also the SJ
.com or .com.au?
.com.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll make sure that's all written in there. So,
Yeah.
and also your Facebook would be the same, CSJ leMoNaiD.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And people can get you their emails to you, so you can tell them about your crowdfunding, and we can all, chip in and help save the world and stuff.
Yes. There's a way to contact us. There's a contact page on the website, so they can email things through there.
Yeah,
as
cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited to be part of it and sharing with my tribe, and I hope that people connect with you. And when you have your crowdfunding, make sure you tell me, and I'll tell my people. And
yeah,
get
cool.
it going on. I think how can people not help? I think.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate.
Got such a beautiful story and such big, beautiful hearts and such awesome superpowers. They're not even secret superpowers. They're out there superpowers. So thank you. I'll press the stop button on here, but thank you so much, guys. And
thank you, Andrea.
Thanks
for interviewing us for the time.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hang on a second.
All right.
Bye.